Hello and welcome to the next part of the Agave Syrup Spirit trial number 3. Now this is the one I'm most excited about because I know it has fermented out and I've got enough capacity to distill, so it's fantastic. So this is the Agave raw agave nectar batch, made up to 9 litres from 1.3 litres of agave nectar, and after approximately 22 days it had fermented out a reasonable distance, and it's now day 50. The main reason I've left it so long is because it was still holding the carbon dioxide, which was then holding the yeast in suspension, and based on a vodka I did that still had gas in it, I didn't want any yeast in here for fermenting out because, quite frankly, that vodka tastes freaking terrible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run off about 4.5 litres of this to start with, because that's the maximum I can distill at one time, but that should hopefully leave me enough after the first distillation to maybe do a second. So I'll run it off into the bucket first, and then I'll test the specific gravity. So I'm actually going to put you down for a moment, and then I'll come back with the next part. Okay, so I've run off 4.5 litres about, and just going to test the specific gravity. Oh, that didn't work. Hang on a moment. So this is pretty much 1. I don't know if you can see, there's a little bit of blue coming through there, and that's because that is 1. So yeah, I'm going to call that 1. So what I'm now going to do is I'm going to take it outside into the garage and put it in the still and start distilling. So when I come back, I'll be in the garage. Cheers! Welcome back. Now we're in the garage. So this is my still, and this is my Agave Syrup Spirit. Now the alcohol percentage is approximately 5.4%, and it smells really cider, more like apple cider than anything else, which I partly expected from the fact that the Agave raw agave syrup tastes more like maple syrup than anything else. So I'm not expecting a product at the moment to taste like tequila. I'm expecting it to sort of be a bit bland, maybe a bit like a apple brandy or something, but it's more the exercise. And I think if I go back to the original trial 1's wholesome raw agave syrup, and I put the same process I have this through, if I use that same process on that wholesome product, then I think it will be a lot closer to an agave syrup spirit. So first step, pour it in. Okay, now pop the top on. So this is a 3-part copper still. So try to get the light right. So of course it goes up inside and then it hits the top of this dome here. Sorry, I'll try and film it from a bit further back. And then comes down and drips out into my shot glass. So the first approximate 50 mils I will take as heads, and I sort of do it a little bit by smell and colour, and yeah, just sort of wing it really. So I'll start this up and I'll turn on the hose so that this fills up. It comes in the bottom, out the top, and I'll come back and probably, it takes normally about 45 minutes to heat up. It's quite a cold night, so it might be a little bit longer, but yeah, I'll come back when I've got some dripping going. Cheers. Okay, we have some heads dripping out. So that's, I'm not sure, I'll work out what the time was after this, but I'll take approximately 50 mils of that, and then I'll start just smelling and testing and seeing where it comes out at. So, cool. Okay, so I've collected that much. Sort of, yeah, so it is about 50 mils. And it's kind of got a bit of a banana-y kind of whiteboard marker smell, and the next portions of it, which are there and here, almost a sort of a buttery, it's a bit of a weird smell, but it's a butter and a cider combined, sort of smooth cider kind of combination. It's crystal clear, and it's all dripping out quite nicely. So I will collect quite a few of these, and yeah, see where it's getting to. Should be good. This is the first portion off. And as you can see, as it turns, it's about 45–46%. Okay, so I've taken off 750 mils already, and the average is about 32% alcohol, and I'll keep collecting probably until about 1.2 litres, something like that, maybe a bit less. I'll just see how it's going and how it smells, and yeah. Okay, so I'm pretty much done with this first pass. So I've collected about 1.125 litres. I haven't tested the second batch to see how much that's come out at. The dripping is pretty slow and pathetic, and it's taken on a little bit of a weird aroma, but as with tails on other things I've done, it's started to get a few little white floaters in it. So I'm going to stop there and let it cool down, and then I'll redistill the second batch, the second half, and then come back to you when I'm doing the second distillation, which will be the second distillation of the whole lot at once. Cool. Cheers. Okay, so distilled off all of that first pass. So I've got the first half of the first pass. So there's that plus that. Then the second, I've got that. Yep, see the level there. Plus that. So I'm going to just mix it all together and see what alcohol percentage it is, and then start a second distillation. So see how that goes. So I've got about 2.3 litres, and just see what the alcohol comes out at. Okay. And pretty much bang on 20%. See that? Yeah, but yeah, pretty much bang on 20% alcohol. So I'll put that through a second time and see how it goes. Okay, so still the second distillation, so it's going quite well. Because it's the second, I've only taken that much in heads, based on smell. And the very first amount that came out is about 74% alcohol, and of course it goes down pretty quickly from there. So should end up with around about a litre at about 40%, but yeah, something close to that, we'll just see. Okay, so I've got the first full bottle off, and I'm just going to test what the alcohol percentage of this one is. That is 57%. But the next, I mean, it's well below that already, so it should, the next 300 mils or so is what's going to bring that down. So cool. So after just filling this bottle, the very first amount that I've collected on here is only 20, yeah, pretty much 20%, maybe 22%, which is just too low to even bother about, and it's starting to it smells quite like the tails do out of everything else I've distilled. So I'm going to I've already turned it off, so I'll stop there. So I've got 750 mils at 57%, which if I do water that down, it's about a litre-ish, maybe a bit more. But I don't know, I'll try it before I water it down, I think. So the next video I'll make will be tasting. I'm not going to do that tonight because it's freezing cold and I'm tired, and I want to let this one cool down, and I'll decide whether I water it down. And then on to trial 4. So trial 4 is going to be the wholesome raw agave syrup from trial 1 with the same process that I used in trial 3. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to trying this. Cheers.